This is one of the craziest stories around church history, and it involves a church father responsible for the arson of one of the most historic churches in the world. So this story is surrounding John Chrysostom, and it takes place between 403 and 404 AD. John Chrysostom is the Bishop of Constantinople and preaches heavily around wealth, income inequality, and extravagance that is burdening the nation. And he specifically targets Emperor Archelaus' wife, Eudoxia. Now, not necessarily explicitly, but highly implicitly in a lot of his messages. Word gets around to the emperor, to the emperor's wife, and to many of the nobles in the city, and they seek to get rid of him. Emperor Arcadius puts a statue of his wife on the grounds of the Hagia Sophia, which is where John Chrysostom is the priest. John is enraged. He preaches against the wealth that's being extravagantly shown, and in a sermon, he preaches against Eudoxia, comparing her to the wife of Herodias, who beheads John the Baptist. And because of that, he gets excommunicated from the church. He gets exiled from Constantinople, and his supporters are furious. Now, Emperor Arcadius brings him back, and he still preaches the same thing. He refuses to back down. He gets excommunicated and exiled again. And at this, his supporters are even more furious. There's riots in the city, and his supporters actually burn the Hagia Sophia to the ground, one of the most hallowed and beautiful structures in all of Christendom. And this is the moral of this story. When you end up trying to solve a problem, you end up causing many more. This emperor was trying to silence an opponent of his, and yet ended up destroying one of the most hallowed places in the entire city. John Chrysostom stood up for what was right, and even though he paid a high price for it, he would still do it again and again, because that is what Christ calls us to. He calls us to stand firm on our beliefs and deal with the consequences, because we realize that we're going to have an eternal reward in his heavenly kingdom.